Hi, and thank you for joining me for this video. So today we're taking a closer look at Decathlon's Quechua 2 seconds easy, fresh and black, two-person tent. Now I have to say, I've owned this tent for about 2 years now, and I absolutely love this tent. This tent is budget friendly, it's well made, it's super easy to pitch, and it's an absolute pleasure to sleep in. Now, at the time of this video, you can purchase this tent from Decathlon for around £130. Now, when you purchase this tent, everything you get comes in this really well-made storage bag. It's got a couple of compression straps to keep everything together. It's got a handle on the top to make carrying this bag nice and easy. It's got a little bit of information about the tent on the front. Now, it's not the smallest of storage bags. The length comes in at around 59 centimeters and the width comes in at around 20 centimeters. Now, when it comes to the packed weight of this bag, so the storage bag with everything you get inside, comes in at around 4.9 kilograms. So it's definitely not the lightest. You couldn't really backpack with this tent because of the weight. Well, you could if you wanted to, but you wouldn't be sort of traveling very far, you know, with this weight on your back. So this tent would be better suited to car or motorbike camping, where you can drive right up to where you're going to be camping for the night. Right, let's open up the storage bag and let's take a good look inside. So when you've unclipped the storage bag and rolled it out a little bit, you will have a leaflet here which is actually sewn to the storage bag. Now, it does tell you in the corner here what you should have inside your storage bag. It then gives you some instructions on how to pitch this tent correctly. On the reverse, it gives you some more instructions on how to take the tent down again. You then have two storage pockets. One will keep your ground pegs in. Now you get the shepherd hook aluminium ground pegs, and then you, on the other side in the storage pocket, you will have your guy lines. At the top of the storage bag, you have what I call a fast pack storage bag, which if you open it right up, as you can see, it's nice and big, so it makes getting your tent out and then back in again fast and easy. Now, this tent is ultimately a pop-up tent, so the inner tent is already connected to the outer fly and the poles are already connected inside the tent, so you don't have separate poles to pitch this tent. The poles are actually made out of fiberglass. You also don't get a footprint with this tent, but I will use a footprint because I always like to use a footprint when pitching a tent to ensure I protect the base of my tent. Right, let's get this tent pitched. So when it comes to pitching this tent, it is super simple. All you have to do is spread your tent out the best you can, and then on each side of the tent, you'll see some red cords that come out from the tent, which are then attached to a handle. You then pull the handle. I'm going to pull this one first, so this side of the tent is going to start popping up. I'll then go around, pull that handle, that side of the tent will start popping up, and then what I'll do is I'll just go around, make a few adjustments. Your tent should then be fully pitched. All that's left to do then is to pop in your ground pegs and your guy lines and you are done. So it can't be much easier than that. Right, let's pull this side first and you can see how it works. So there you go, that's the first side done, as you can see. And then if I come around this side and I pull this handle like that, you then will just have to pull your tent out a little bit, go around the other side, do the same to the other side, and basically that's your tent pretty much pitched. Now, this is a freestanding tent, so when you've pitched it, you can lift it up and you can move it around. But all I'm going to do now is get it pegged out, guyed out, and then we can take a closer look at this tent. So now that the tent is pitched, I think it's a cracking looking tent. It's definitely a lot sturdier than it might look. Now, when it comes to the color of this tent, or colors I should say, it's classed as a ultra white, a teal blue, and an ash blue. And as I say, these are the only colors that this tent comes in. Now, with this tent, you get two outer doors, you get two vestibules, and you get 2 inner doors. So whatever I show you this side is exactly the same on the other side. You also get 2 little mesh windows at the top here, which is exactly the same the other side, and you have a little rain flyer that just comes over the top. Now when you pitch this tent, this little rain flyer will automatically pop up. It does have a little support underneath to keep it open. When it comes to the outer fabric of this tent, it is made from a PU coated polyester, and it has a hydrostatic head rating of 2000 millimeters. Also, all the seams are double stitched and tape sealed, so it is completely waterproof. With regards to waterproofing, Decathlon do test all of their tents. Now this tent, this model of tent has been subjected to 200 litres of water per hour over a 3-hour period. Now I have to say I did a little bit of research into that, and the Met Office here in the UK said that if the UK had 200 litres of water during the course of a day, that would be classed as a heavy downfall. So the fact is that this model tent has been subjected to 200 litres of water over an hour, and then over 3 hours. Wow, that's a lot of water. I have to say, I haven't had any issues with waterproofing with this tent. People I know and going online looking at a lot of reviews, and there's over 1,000 reviews on this tent. I haven't seen one review where people have had an issue with the waterproofing. Now, when it comes to how well it fares in the wind, once again, Decathlon test all their tents themselves. And what they do is they pitch their tents on a turntable, and as the turntable is spinning round, they hit the tent from different angles with wind. This particular tent has been tested up to 31 miles per hour, and it's absolutely fine. There is actually a video on the Decathlon site of showing this in the wind, and it's absolutely fine. I have to say, for most people, they're not going to be camping in more than 20-25 miles of wind anyway. So the fact is that this can withstand up to 31 miles per hour. It's absolutely fine. Right, now when it comes, I'll just move across here. Now when it comes to the outer doors of this tent, the door itself, the zip is covered with a storm flap, and it has a little bit of Velcro at the bottom just to keep it in place if the wind gets up. Now I have to say, with all the zips on this tent, they're absolutely fine. I wouldn't say they're the smoothest, but they've never caught or snagged, so no issues with the zips whatsoever. Now you can undo this outer door and you can actually roll it back halfway, or you can undo this little ground peg at the bottom here, and you can then roll the outer doors all the way across, so you get a really nice big opening. And don't forget, whatever you do this side, you can do exactly the other side as well. So I'm going to open this door up now. I'm just going to roll it back halfway to start, so you can have a look at that, and then we can have a look at inside the vestibule. So as you can see, with the door half rolled back, you do get a small vestibule. Now, it's not the biggest of vestibules. You could probably store a pair of boots or shoes down the side. When the door is completely zipped up and you're in the tent, you could probably lay a backpack on its side, but it's definitely not very big. Now, you can purchase an awning for this tent, which is designed specifically for this tent, which clips onto this tent. It's super simple. I have seen one in action, and I think it costs about £64-65 from Decathlon, and then that's obviously going to give you a lot more room. Now, when it comes to rain, I have to say that if you leave your door, whether it's half opened or fully rolled back, even though you've got this little sort of rain fly up the top here, rain will just simply run off and would run straight into your tent. So the only solution to that is, as I say, get that awning that will clip onto this tent, or you could just pop a tarp over this tent. Now, looking at the door quickly, on the inside of the outer door, you can see it's got this silver alloy. sort of color. That's designed to reflect the sun, which then in turn will help keep the inside of the tent cooler, but it's also to help protect you from the UV rays. So I really do like this. You then do have the inner door, which obviously can be fully unzipped and rolled and toggled back. Half of it is solid material, and then the top part is a little mesh window. You don't actually have another panel behind that you can zip fully up, so it's just the mesh window, which is going to aid airflow. It will help reduce any condensation, and also it'll keep the bugs out. Also, don't forget, on both sides of the roof of this tent, you do have 2 more mesh windows underneath each side to help with that airflow and help reduce condensation as well. Right, I'm going to fully roll the outer door back now so we can have a really good look inside the tent. So with the outer door fully rolled back, it gives you a really nice entrance. Unfortunately, the inner door doesn't unzip all the way across and you can't roll it and toggle it fully back. But hey, it's still a really nice entrance. Right, let's talk about the inner fabric of this tent. Now, the inner fabric is this black fabric. It's Decathlon's Fresh and Black. It's been designed for a number of reasons. The first reason is it's been designed to keep out up to 99% of light when this tent is fully zipped up. So in the summer months, you know, early in the morning when the sun is up, it's going to stop light getting into the tent, which is going to give you a better sleep. Also of an evening, if you have a full moon and it's really bright in the evening, it's going to stop that light getting in to your tent, so you'll be able to fall asleep quicker, hopefully. Thirdly, in the summer months, this black fabric is designed to keep your inner tent cooler. And I have to say, on a day like today, I think it's only about 23 degrees and it's pretty warm. I have to say, just being in and out of this tent, you can definitely feel the difference inside the tent. And then lastly, privacy. You know, how many times you've been on a campsite and you see someone in their tent and they've got the lights on and you can see them changing or doing whatever they do in their tent. Well, with this blackout fabric, even when you've got the light on, at least no one at the campsite is going to be able to see what you are or you aren't doing in your tent. Now, when it comes to the fabric, it is also made the same as the outer fabric. It's made from a PU coated polyester. However, the floor of this tent has a hydrostatic head rating of 5,000 millimeters, and once again double stitched, tape sealed, and is more than waterproof. Right, let's take a look right inside the tent and see what you get inside the tent, and also have a look at the internal measurements. When it comes to inside the tent, you get 3 storage pockets. You get one at the head end here, you then get another one down the foot end, and then you get a third pocket which is down the foot end, but it's actually here on the ceiling. Also, these end pockets are also little mesh windows. You can't see clearly because it's so dark in here, but they are actually mesh windows. You can't unzip them, but they're going to help with airflow, help reduce condensation, and obviously keep any insects out. And then lastly, on the ceiling, you do have this line here that you can hang a bit of damp clothes on if you want to. And obviously, as you can see, there is a little lamp hook there to put your lamp. So when it comes to the internal size of this tent, I think it's a decent size for a 2-person tent. The length comes in at 205 centimeters, which I think is more than long enough for most people. I think most air mats are between 190 and 200 centimeters. Some of the air mats, the extra long ones, are 210 to 220 centimeters. You could use one of those extra long mats in here, but the ends of your mat would be butted up against the ends of the tent. Width-wise, it comes in at 145 centimeters, which for a 2-person tent is quite generous. More than enough room for 1 person, but for two people, even with a generous width of 145 centimeters, it still would be a little bit of a squeeze. You would have a little bit more room if perhaps you were sharing with a child or perhaps your dog. Now, when it comes to the height, really generous in this tent with a height, 110 centimeters. I know I'm not sat on an air mat, but I've got acres of room above my head. I have an air mat which has a thickness of 14 centimeters, and when I sit on that and even on top of my sleeping bag on that mat, I've still got plenty of room above my head. So I reckon you could be 6'3" and on a really nice thick air mat, and your head is still not going to be touching the ceiling of this tent. So yeah, all said and done, a decent size for a two-person, but as per usual, a palace for one, but a little bit of a squeeze for two. So I'm just inside the tent, and I just want to zip the tent completely shut so you can see just how dark it gets inside this tent. So I doubt you can see me anymore, but that's the tent completely zipped up. You do get a little bit of light coming through the mesh windows, but all in all, it is completely pitch black in here. Right, let me open this up again quickly so you can see me. There you go. And the doors back open. So as you can see, just by that little quick demonstration, how dark it actually gets inside this tent. So there you have it. That's the tent. I have to say, I absolutely love this tent. I've thoroughly enjoyed using this tent over the last couple of years. I've had no issues with this tent. It's got so many great features, this tent, and I personally think it's worth every penny. I have to say it is classed as a 3-season tent, so this tent will perform at its best during the hotter times of the year. I do know a couple of people that have used this tent throughout the year, and they've said they've had no problems, but as I say, it is classed as a 3 seasons, so it's definitely going to perform its best during the warmer times of the year. Downsides to this tent, no tent is ever perfect. As I've said before in a lot of my videos, I have Hillyberg tents which cost a load of money, and you know, they're not perfect. Weight wise for this tent, it is heavy, but then again, it's not classed as a backpacking tent, and as I said, this tent would be good for people that are in their cars or on their motorbikes, where you can drive right up to where you're going to be camping. With regards to Decathlon as a company, I've had no issues with Decathlon at all. Their customer service is second to none. If I've ever contacted them, they've come straight back to me with any answers I want answering. With this tent, they give you a 5-year warranty. So if you have any issues with the tent, they will deal with it. Decathlon also like to keep their products going, so they offer what I call a spare and repair. So if you go into any of the Decathlon stores, you can get spares for this tent, or they will repair it for you. So Decathlon as a company, I absolutely am a big fan of Decathlon. And one thing I really like about Decathlon and their gear is they do actually test their gear, unlike some companies who make these very bold claims, but they haven't actually tested their gear. And that's why so many Decathlon products get such great reviews, i.e. this tent. But listen, you tell me what you think about this tent. Is this a tent you would consider, or is it just simply not for you? But on that note, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It really does help the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And lastly, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a new video. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. When it comes to collapsing this tent, first of all, you want to take all your ground pegs and guy lines out, and then there's a little button here that says push on. It's the same place where you originally pulled the cord for the tent to pop up. But what you do is just push this button and the tent will begin to collapse. And then all you do is you go round the other side, and we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. And that should then just collapse the rest of the tent. All that's left to do is to pull the tent together and put it back in its storage bag, and you're done. And you can normally do this under a minute.